Good morning and welcome. I'm Katie McQuaich-Lucas, your ministerial intern, and my pronouns are she and hers. Our opening words this morning are from David Pohl. We come to this time and this place to rediscover the wondrous gift of free religious community, to renew our faith in the holiness, goodness, and beauty of life, to reaffirm the way of the open mind and full heart, to rekindle the flame of memory and hope, and to reclaim the vision of an earth made fair with all her people one. Come and let us worship together. Please join in lighting our chalice and in our affirmation.
Okay. In the light of truth, the warmth of community, the fire of commitment, we gather this day. May the flame we now kindle be to us a symbol of the holiness we seek.
We are Unitarian Universalists, the Church of the Open Mind, the Loving Hearts, and Helping Hands.
Good morning. My name is Al Murray. I help run the worship arts and technology teams. I use the pronouns he, his, and him. Welcome to this last summer service of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Reading Summer 2021 season. The UUCR is a regional church serving those communities north, west, south, and in a very narrow band east of Boston. Communities of folk looking for a non-denominational, non-dogmatic church that sometimes makes us feel uncomfortable by challenging our thinking, and in doing so leads us to examine our relationship with nature, spirituality, and each other. If you are with us for the first time, a special welcome. Please check back to our webpage and click on the link. Click for more information about our virtual worship options during COVID-19. This link will lead you to much of what you need to know to make a broader and deeper connection here at UUCR. For example, you can sign up to our email newsletter where you can get information about ongoing events and other news from the church. In the newsletter, you can also get the link for the virtual coffee and conversation time that follows the service today and every week. On the webpage, you can also find contact information for Melissa Martin, our Member Services Coordinator, and she can help you make more connections with UUCR. Finally, I want to tell you something. You are welcome here because we believe you belong here. Maybe just for this next hour, but we hope for longer. You are welcome here, and we are glad you are here, just as we are glad to be together this morning. Now, look to the chat for the words to our opening hymn, number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In.
Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Will you please join me now in prayer? Infinite mystery, in whom we live, move, and have our being. It is so difficult to find you in times of hardship. It is hard to see you in the floodwaters, in the bombs, in the illnesses, in our grief and our anxiety. Yet you are present nevertheless, bearing witness and accompanying us, as we bear witness for and accompany one another. It is easier to find you in the rescues and the airlifts, to see you in glorious sunrises and sunsets, and in beautiful music. May our discovery of you and our blessings help us to remember your presence in harder times, so that we might always know we are whole, we are held, we are loved. May it be so, and amen.
Each Sunday, UUCR gives away half the money received in the collection plate to a nonprofit organization that shares our UU values. It's a simple yet powerful way for each of us to help heal the world by learning about and supporting the good works of charitable organizations and becoming more involved in our community. Our Share the Plate recipient for the month of September is More Than Words. More Than Words is a job training and youth development program that empowers nearly 350 youth each year to take charge of their lives by operating a $4 million book-selling business. It is a remarkable organization with measured success in helping young people find their direction, find and hold a job, and stay in or re-enter school. More Than Words works with the most vulnerable young adults in Greater Boston, those who are in the foster care system, court-involved, homeless, or out of school. At More Than Words, they work approximately 20 hours per week learning critical customer service, technology, inventory management, and leadership skills. They also attend workshops and site visits and receive focused support to ensure that they persist in school and map out plans for their future life. Graduates of More Than Words pursue education and secure employment at rates that far exceed other at-risk youth. 93% of them are on track to earn a high school diploma or equivalent, and 83% are working. For many years, UUCR has donated the leftover books from the Kris Kringle Fair to More Than Words. By sharing the plate with More Than Words in September, we now have the opportunity to provide an even greater level of support. Please give generously to our virtual Sunday Share the Plate offering to support the work of More Than Words and the mission of UUCR. Our reading today is entitled Front Porch. Procrastination is just distraction in disguise. This was published Thursday, September 2nd, 2021 by Cindy Haval in the Spokesman Review newspaper. I would tell you how many times I started this column, but somewhere along the way I lost count. What no one warns you about working from home is that if you're prone to procrastination, your house will give you ample opportunities for postponing pesky deadlines. In more than 15 years in journalism, I never missed a deadline, nor even been significantly late. But that doesn't mean I haven't cut it close to the wire. Not long ago, I wrote a column about anticipation, referencing the Carly Simon classic hit song, Anticipation. Guess what? That tune works fine if you substitute procrastination for anticipation. And you know you've just tried it in your head. I hummed that tune as I started a load of laundry after typing the header on this column. Well, since the washer is next to the freezer, I thought I might as well grab the roast I was planning to cook for dinner. I set the frozen slab on my desk and typed my byline. Then I checked Facebook, and time melted as I scrolled through a friend's vacation photos. The roast also started melting, so I hustled it upstairs to the kitchen. Opening a cupboard, I searched for the seasoning I need for the roast. Searched because tall bottles of cooking wine, vinegars, and oils had hidden the basil and oregano. Then I eyed the cupboard with baking supplies. Well, we're in the middle of zucchini season, and every week I'm churning out breads, cookies, and muffins. Why was the baking powder on a shelf so high I had to climb on a chair to reach it? Obviously, the cabinets desperately needed organizing. I pulled everything out of each cupboard and wiped down the shelves, racks, and Lazy Susans. Hysterical meowing broke my cleaning reverie as my cats, Thor and Walter, notified me lunchtime was past due. I filled their bowls and heard the timer on the dryer ringing. When you don't iron, you can't afford to let your clothes sit in the dryer. My blinking monitor reminded me I barely started this column, so I sat down and wrote the first sentence. That's when I noticed my email flag waving. After answering and categorizing a multitude of messages, I realized I'd left everything out on the kitchen counters. Organizing puts me in an absolute zen state of mind. The beauty of a well-stocked kitchen delights me. By the time I was done, all of the baking and cooking spices were within easy reach, and I'd rearranged the canned and boxed goods too. It was picture perfect. So, of course, I grabbed my phone and took some photos. I posted the pictures on Instagram and congratulated myself on a work well done. Then I remembered my paying job. I'd only written about 50 words. Back to the basement office I trudged. As I finish this, it's almost time to start dinner, which has me thinking about my pots and pans. Why are the baking sheets so hard to reach? Wouldn't the colanders and mixing bowls work better in a larger cupboard? And that's when I started humming. Feel free to sing along. Procrastination, procrastination is making me late. It's keeping me waiting. Today's service was supposed to be a rerun. It's Labor Day, and traditionally we do not have anything approaching a large crowd, so we had planned a greatest hit repeat. Then came the events of last week, and the team decided that maybe a more timely live, well, newly recorded live service was more in order. Fine. We set things up. Rold is performing the music this week. Katie's doing the pastoral parts. Alliston is editing the video, and I volunteered to write up a simple, neat little homily. Then I ran into the yaks. Let me explain. You see, they're not literal yaks. Here in New England, that would be weird. It's a metaphor, maybe an allegory. Let me look it up. No. It's a metaphor. Almost started to shave a different yak there. Yak shaving, or shaving a yak, is a term coined by Carlin Vieri, an MIT PhD in the 90s, after watching an episode of the Ren and Stimpy show. Yak shaving is the rabbit hole wandering that happens when you start out to do a thing and then run into a related issue that leads to another issue and another and another until you've done maybe 20 things, important, perhaps vital things, but then you haven't actually done the original thing. It is a particular software engineering term used to describe the work you've done instead of and because of the original feature or bug fix or test case you were supposed to write in the first place. But it has applications in real life as well. For example, you set out to clean the bedroom closet and are making good progress sorting out the brings joy and discard piles on the floor. You find and try on that old coat and discover that the zipper is stuck. So you go looking for a pair of pliers and maybe a candle so you can wax up the zipper. Hey, look, the pliers were not put away. So you start organizing the tool rack and notice a loose screw. So you find the screwdriver, which is on the table because the rack hasn't been organized, and replace the screw. Great. Then you put the tools away, you fix the zipper, and you hang the coat in the winter clothes rack in the cellar. You've done a good job, so reward yourself with a nice little reading session. Later, when you go to bed, you find the mess that is your bedroom floor because you never finished cleaning out the closet. Congratulations, you've shaved another yak. On a side note, I've never seen the Ren and Stimpy episode, but can tell you that Yak Shaving Eve is December 21st, which is the solstice, which is the shortest day. And in ancient Babylonian astronomy, no. Let that yak remain hairy. I agreed to help write this service, knowing that there was a Thursday deadline for titles and hymns and a Friday deadline for recording. After last Sunday, I took Monday off dealing with work. I actually was productive that one day this week. And dealing with an aged, ailing parent who was being transferred from the neurological surgery ward in a major Boston hospital to a medical ward. Yay, no actual surgery was needed. I got home after 8 and poured myself into bed. Then I was invited to participate in a church meeting Tuesday night. So after another crazy day at work and another trip to Boston, I got home and met with some of the people who I hope are attending the service today. And on Wednesday, my mom was transferred from the hospital to an acute care rehab hospital in Framingham. So in between meetings at work, I researched that rehab facility and the company that has bought the chain. The CEO of that company was a real piece of work and ended up buying 3 jets and had an armored car built. He was arrested for embezzlement, and the board threw him out in 2013. Later, the car was sold at auction for Al, put down the yak clippers and focus. All right, Wednesday, I spent 12 hours at work and then dealt with some chores and family issues. and checked the storm drains against the oncoming heavy rains and read several pigeon books with my grandson. He loves Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus, but I enjoyed The Pigeon Needs a Bath. Then I did the dishes, cleaned the stove, and watched just one YouTube video. Pro tip, if you're going to watch just one video, don't select a postmodern jukebox video. Much like Lay's potato chips, there's no such thing as just one. All of these were productive things, well, except for the late night PMJ marathon. But another yak has been cut out of the herd and shaved. Thursday started with a conference call with our India software group, a phone call with the vice president of the company, our daily sprint planning session. I was supposed to write up a series of test cases into a test suite. Then there was the emergency manufacturing meeting, a tour of possible lab and office space, 2 support calls. I never got up a chance to write the test cases. That was my principal task. Why are there so many naked yaks running around? Then there was a short visit to the rehab facilities, then home, supper, and actually sitting down to write this sermon and the reading and the call for offering and the welcome words. So what was I going to write about? What is topical, real, and would ring true with the congregation? I had no ideas. So I started looking at old services and online sources. Nothing. I tried not to get sucked into the maelstrom that is Google, only to find myself procrastinating. Procrastinating. So I typed procrastinating into the search block and found the article that I used in the reading, and here we are. As I type this, that is past midnight, way past midnight. As I record it, it's past 3 in the morning. I love the fact that this story was dated Thursday. The author was having troubles much as I was. It must have just gone to publication when I was looking for a topic on which to write myself. Miss Haval wrote about being distracted and using that distraction to procrastinate. But I found myself reading her story and thinking, hey, a fellow yak shaver. Distraction. Going down the rabbit hole. Yak shaving. How can we better focus on the immediate task? Asks the man with several well-trimmed yaks recording this at 3:15 in the morning. Well, sometimes it seems that we have so many demands on our time that we can't get everything done. We don't do everything well. Some things are frankly done poorly, some superficially. Maybe a few things get done properly and well. So why do we end up with so many demands on our time? Easy. We don't stop and say no. We feel obligated to help out. We feel flattered to be asked to help. We don't always practice good self-health. We need to say no to some things so that we can say yes to the important things. We need to say no to some things so that we have the energy, strength, and motivation to pay full attention to the important things. We feel stuck sometimes. We seem to be the only ones that can do this job. I've been at my current job for almost 11 years now. I'm the only person who knows anything about one legacy product. It was the first product that my team brought to market many years ago, but they've all moved on. Recently, several managers left the company. 2 of us senior people have been asked to pick up additional work. The key word is additional, not replace this with that. No, pick up additional work. There's another software term related to yak shaving. This is called thrashing. Like an old disk drive and an underpowered CPU, so you spend so much time loading work into your focus, only to be interrupted with the next text and the next task, and the next, that you spend so much time jumping between tasks that you never actually have any cycles left to do the actual job. Work, extra work, house chores, finances, car maintenance, family emergencies, personal mental health, church, thrashing. There is an old joke book called The Dad's Handbook. The first page reads something like, "The answer is no." The second, third, and every other page reads, "See page 1." I must have lost my copy because, in reality, I should have said no to doing this sermon. I should have said no because I haven't been able to plan ahead. I'm winging this and will not have had the time to let this percolate. I wrote it for a couple of hours, did a little editing, but typically you let it sit for a day, come back to it. On the one hand, no endless rewriting. On the other, is this any good? Is this worth your attention? What might have happened if I had channeled Nancy Reagan and just said no? Someone else might have done this service. We might have dropped back to the original plan and played an older service. At worst, we might not have had a service. That would have been difficult, might have been uncomfortable. What would have happened if I just said, I just can't. Is there anyone out there who can help? Would someone have answered? Maybe yes, maybe no. So I said yes, and here we are. This is Labor Day weekend, the time we are supposed to take off from work to reward ourselves for working so hard, the time we are supposed to stop work, remember, and venerate the American worker, the time we are not supposed to paint the house, trim the hedges, work on the car, do the fill in the blank that can't be done another time. As you go about this weekend, pay attention. If you're on vacation, great. If you're doing chores, when you go to trim the hedges, will you then bring out the trimmer and cord, get the ladder, and then notice the drooping rain gutter? Go get the hammer, and then notice that the shed door is leaning at a funny angle. Go looking for your level, and until you end up winding the cord in the middle of the night with the hedges looking like the photos, like the before photos in the Edward Scissorhands movie, and then you tripping over the ladder as you go in. Sometimes it is better to ask for help or just say no. It could help you avoid procrastination. It might stop you from thrashing or going down the rabbit hole. Watch out. There are entire herds of hirsute yaks out there just waiting to be shaved.
grace hath brought me safe.
We extinguish this flame, but not the warmth of community, the fire of commitment. These we gather in our hearts.
May the peace that passes all understanding keep your hearts and minds in the knowledge of love. And may that peace be yours in the week to come. Go in peace, and blessed be.